Yes, I'm speaking of our very own Mrs. Sharon Vicks. Mrs. Vicks, you have the mic.
Thank you, Brother Mike. Thank you, Brother Eric, for playing our beloved Ty Best again this morning. And thank you, Dr. Best, for all you do for all of us. I've heard that since Mr. Best did that maybe 6 times now because of all the messages that I've heard from Mr. Best. This August will be 8 years for me listening to this, what I call a phenomenon. And of course, I need to know what I'm saying when I say it. And that's what I wrote down, a phenomenon. And they said that's an exceptional, unusual, or abnormal person. And then I looked up mentorship because that's what he has been to me and to many of you for the past 8 years. And that's guidance provided by an experienced person. And then he used the word loyalty. And loyalty is a strong feeling of support and allegiance. And each time I listen to Dr. Best give that particular talk, those are the words that keep coming to mind. Because he himself, as much as he believed in what he does, when life hits, it takes you to another level. And the whole while Dr. Best was going through what he was going through, I was praying, saying, Lord, you can't be finished with him yet because we still need him. I still need him. Hearing that voice and hearing the messages he put out. And one thing is consistent: dreams, freedom, and never give up. And when I started hearing Dr. Best sound grave to me, that's what I heard. My heart got so heavy because I'm saying, he really needs us now. We're saying we need him and get well because we need you. But he needs us. And when somebody is that loyal to what they're doing and their whole purpose in life is to mentor other people to fulfill their dreams and get to their freedom, that's a phenomenon. You don't get that kind of individual every day. Not many of us can say we know a lot of people like that. This is the first time I've ever been introduced to one. Dr. Best has been mentoring me for the whole 8 years I've been here. He put in me a fire that says, Sharon, you can do anything you want to do, but you got to be willing to do it. And when life happens, we all get knocked off our game. When you got the phenomenal Dr. Ty Best laying in a bed saying this got to be more than this, and when he heard that clip that Dr. Rhonda Hollins played, it did something to him. It sparked something in him. Can you imagine something he created, the power call? He had to hear the power call to spark something in him. We always say we need the power call, but sometimes the power call needs us. Well, Dr. Best needs the power call just like we need him. He needs us. And family, when he coined the phrase wealth builders worldwide, that's about building wealth, so we think. No, we are building life winners. It's more than about the money. It's about the people. It's about fulfilling your dreams. It's about planting seeds. It's about building a legacy for your family. It's about things most of us never even considered. I know I didn't. I was one of them ones, got the education, had the good job, looking good, smelling good, driving a nice car, but I was broke. If I lost that job within the next 2, 3 months, I would have been in the soup line. So no, I was not there yet. It took me until 50 something to realize I had not even arrived, let alone showed up. My freedom date, thanks to Dr. Ty Best, was December 1919. And right after that, here come COVID. And I'm saying, well, why is this happening the way it's happening now? And one thing I've learned from Dr. Best, whatever it is that happens, you have to have your mindset in a place where whatever comes, you can be able to handle it. Now, I retired in 19. COVID shut everything down the next year in March. I'm saying that couldn't have happened no other way but by the way it was supposed to happen. And I'm just saying everything happens for a reason. And Dr. Bess, the lesson you have taught all of us is that it doesn't matter who you are. When you get knocked down, you just get right back up because he is not finished with you. When he finishes with you, he's not going to just knock you down. He's going to take you out. But when your purpose on this earth is to help as many people as you possibly can, and once you realize that is your purpose, then he's going to provide the resources. And yes, the devil is going to come. When Dr. Best went to saying he made up his mind he going to get his ghosts, when he made up in his mind that he going to bring in 1,000,000 people, the devil said, no, you're not. No, you're not. I've let you do enough. You are upsetting the apples. No, we're not going to let you do anything else. But that mindset Dr. Best has, that loyalty he has for helping other people reach their dreams and attain their freedom, it overtook whatever that was trying to attack him. And he is healing. And I am so happy to see him and hear him as well. But Dr. Best, I have too much more to do. I need you. Family, let's just always, always remember that we need each other on this journey, because they're not going to just let us have this journey without a fight. And when I heard something the other day, and this has been in my head ever since, this means war. We have to literally go to war. It is spiritual warfare on all of us who are attached to this thing called Well Builders Worldwide and GS Partners. Family, we can do this, because the majority of us now, even though we have not gotten there yet, we have not attained the wealth and the freedom that we truly want. But if truth be told, right now, we are still living a blessed life. We are living a blessed life because of a Well Builders Worldwide, a Dr. Best, and a Valerie Best. Thank you, family.
Wow. Thank you, Miss Sharon Vicks. Now, family, traditionally, Miss Vicks goes last, and the young lady that goes first has arrived on the platform. And I definitely want to give her an opportunity to share what she thought of that incredible classes in session today. Now, many of you know her by her first name, but there was this movie that said the place was so nice that they named it twice. And yes, that's what happens with our very own Miss CC Mahone. Miss CC, you have the mic.
Good morning, Brother Mike. Good morning, family. I would just have to say this. Dr. Best, thank you so much for doing that amazing live stream that you did. And it's been played over and over and over. And it needs to be a CD. So you can put it in your car and listen to it over and over, because you just covered everything that makes this opportunity what it is. And one of the things you said, what makes this the greatest opportunity in the world, what holds it all together is the culture. And I just want to say thank you, Dr. Best. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. And I'm going to say ditto, ditto, ditto to everything that my sister Sharon said. But Dr. Best said Joseph Haidt has given us a buffet in the free enterprise system. And we have to take advantage of this, because this is not going to happen again, family. This is for us. This is our time. Back to you, Brother Mike.
Wow, thank you, Ms. CeCe Mahone. Now, I'm not sure if the champ is in a position where he can share. And for those who you were not on earlier, that young man is actually attending a graduation today of one of the many young men that he's poured into in Detroit. He gave us a glimpse of the young man in his cap and gown, and it truly touched my heart. It's amazing to help someone, but in a place like Detroit, where a lot of hope has left that city, and for this young brother to be pouring into these young men, and you see one of those young men living out their dreams of actually graduating from high school. So if you're in a position where you can share, and oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know who the champ is, his given name is Abdul Rahman. We just simply call him the champ because, very much like Muhammad Ali came onto the platform with a bang. This young brother has come into this platform known as GS Partners with a tremendous bang, but yet he still pours back into his community. That culture that Dr. Best talked about, this brother is living proof of what that culture can do. So, Brother Abdul, I'm sure you have me in your earpiece, and I don't know if you're available to speak, sir. And if not, we truly understand, but we would love to hear from the champ. And we need that young man's name, Brother Abdul, so we can truly recognize him correctly.
That's right, Mr. Johnson. Thank you for pulling me out real quick. The champ is here. That's young Matthew. Been rolling with me since he was 9 years old, had all F's. And I told him, brother, this ain't gonna happen. And so he's now graduating high school, first of his family on his mother's as well as his father's side. So it's a blessing and it's a gift to have a young man who stayed away from all of the devices and distractions that come into a young man's life in the city of Detroit and endure poverty, in some cases, neglect. And he made it happen. He's working full time. We got him a job. He's a football star, and he's pursuing his dreams. And he also is a gold standard partner, and would have assets and have an income for life in Lydian world. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Dr. Best. We love you so much for pouring into us that wonderful live stream. Thank all of the wealth builders for replaying and replaying again. Shout out to Brother Eric Toure Muhammad. We love you. We're going to keep doing this thing because we're going after our babies.
Thank you, champ. Please, family, if you could, one time today, unmute the mics, congratulate that young man and all of
Champ
those
is
incredible
here.
leaders that you've heard.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes, indeed.
Outstanding.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to
Let's
you,
go.
champ.
Congratulations
Yes,
on the
indeed, sir.
greatest.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Good
Matthew.
job, champ. Way to pour into that
Outstanding.
young man. What I'm talking about.
Thank you,
Congratulations,
family.
Matthew.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations, Matthew.
If you notice something, and there was a couple things that came out in that what the champ shared. He's been helping that young man since he was 9. 9 years old. Think about it. This young man is 18 now. So without any fanfare, to be there for someone. When people in the city think that you're trash. They treat the young men of Detroit like garbage. And when I say they, especially the police, in so many neighborhoods, they look at these young men like they are truly garbage. And here's a young man that was basically flunking out of school. And now he's walking across the stage, head held high. He is on the football team. He is the first in his family to graduate. Family, that is no small task. When Dr. Best talked about culture, it's a culture of each one teaching one. It's a culture of helping people. It's a culture of pouring back into people. It's not about the money. You can't put a price tag on what they've done for that young man. Okay, we have some other gentlemen that would like to share, and I'm gonna get off that soapbox, but there is something else I will share later about culture. You need to hear what Dr. Best shared today in a slightly different light. So the next voice that you're gonna hear from is one of those individuals that's with that Sleep Money family. And I'm calling him a family because when two or more come together, magic happens. And these two young brothers have locked arms and they're building a small empire. And someone once said, do what you have to do in silence and let your production speak for itself. Well, these two brothers are getting that done. The first of which is a young brother by the name of Brother Corey Hinton. So Brother Corey, you have the mic, sir.
What's up, wealth builders? Hey, champ, man, words can't explain what you're doing, man. See, I don't know what that's like because I've always grew up with my father, right? So my father was my hero. So for you to provide that, fill that void for that young man, and for so long, since he was 9 years old, and now he's, what, 18? That's 9 years of consistent, unadulterated unselfishness, man. So I got to give you your flowers on that, brother. I really do, man. And thank you, Dr. Ty Best, for facilitating this platform to make that happen, to expose me to people like the champ, like Brother Eric Teray Muhammad, like Michael Johnson, like all the ladies that's on here, Sharon Vick, CC Mahomes, Ross Rain. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to, Dr. Ty Best, he talked about the valley. And, of course, I immediately thought about the 23rd Psalms where it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And see, I hold true to that. I hold firm to that. And another thing about the valley, and check this out. The valley is where we gather our tools that we need to climb the mountain. You don't get your tools on the mountain. You get your tools in the valley. And so we have to understand to appreciate the valley. He also talked about trust. Dr. Ty Best talked about trust. See, the catalyst for trust is familiarity. See, when Ed Williams brought me this opportunity, it was because I was familiar with Ed. And we had already had years and years of trust. And see, so then I had to learn how to trust the system, the Believers Huddle, Wealth Builders Worldwide. That came over the last 18 months. I had to learn how to trust Joseph Haidt because I had to get familiar with everybody and everything, right? So familiar, again, that's the catalyst for trust. And I also was listening to Jim Rohn where he says, walk away from the 97%. See, we have to determine, he also talked about it's easier to give birth than wake the dead. And see, that's that 97% are dead. So we have to determine who they are. If it takes them 48, 72 hours to watch a video, guess what? That's the 97%. Jim Rohn say, walk away. Don't do like they do. Don't read what they read. Don't go where they go. Don't talk how they talk. You see? And then next thing I'm gonna talk about is everything. This is something my dad taught me. He said, everything that glitters ain't gold, but gold does glitter. So now we're going to go back to Genesis 2:12, when God said that was in the land, and gold was good in that land. So which means that it was bad gold, it was food gold somewhere else. So yes, we do have to bite down on that nugget. And that's a $33 decision, so you can bite down on this nugget to see if it's real gold. And I'm telling you, when you make this $33 decision over here, it is real gold over here. We are golden, family. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We're in the right time, we got the right leadership, and we got the right opportunity. Let's go. I love each and every one of y'all. Let's go.
Wow.
Love you
Thank
too,
you,
Brother Corey.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Brother Corey, you may want to check the chat. There are a few people that are truly moved by what you just shared, my brother. So thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Now, there's another member of that Sleep Money family. And what I truly admire about this young brother is he once told you, you're not ready. You're not ready for what he had to say. But all I can tell you is he looks like he's for business today. He's dressed for what's getting ready to happen. And it is warfare. And family, at the end of the day, when you have a voice and you're not bashful about sharing that voice, that's an incredible opportunity. And this brother does have a voice. I'm speaking of our very own, Brother Ed Williams. Brother Ed, you have the mic, sir.
Much love, honor, and respect to the fam. I'm full this morning. Like I told you, I had already listened to Dr. Best yesterday morning, and he just hit home for me in so many different ways. One of the most impactful things that he said was, you know, they ask me all the time how me and Val were married for 43 years. He said Val had a dream. So to me, that's super heavy because my wife has a dream. And when I tell you, family, just keep going. I'm saying just keep going and keep doing what you think is not working. Man, that sowing is so powerful. Just keep going. It doesn't matter what it feels like. It doesn't matter what it seems. It doesn't matter if you're the black sheep of the family. It doesn't matter if anybody don't believe you. Your family don't talk to you. Everybody run away. It don't matter. Keep going, fam. Thank you, Dr. Best. Thank you for preparing me for this moment, Dr. Best. I'm ready. I'm hitting shots from all over the court, Dr. Best. Half court. I know you love basketball. I was a football player, Dr. Best. I don't have no business being able to hit it from half court. Listen, fam, this is a global opportunity. Eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what is planned for each and every one of you if you don't quit, fam. Shout out to my new partner from Lesotho, Southern Africa. I made a post in GS Partners Global. Looking for some assistance in the area. Mr. Andrew Eden, who is out of Cape Town, South Africa. Lesotho is closer to the eastern coast of South Africa. Cape Town, of where Mr. Andrew Eden is from, is more of the west coast of South Africa. The brother, his name is Thimba, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Coley. He is a architect for 14 years, construction, architecture for 14 years. He told me in just simple terms, um, I need a change in my life. And not only do we have a system in place? Not only do we have a vehicle, but I'm plugged into that vehicle. And Dr. Best said it best yesterday when he said, our culture is wealth builders. Our culture is wealth builders. We help people get the required and necessary skills to build wealth. Wealth is far, far more than money. I never knew that. I never understood what I understand now. When I tell you I'm prepared because of you, I'm prepared because of this community, I'm prepared because of this system, my conversation has changed, my knowledge is elevated. Why? Because of this system, not because of all my talents or skills or whatever I can do, and none of that. It's from falling back. It's from humbling down. It's from shrinking down. It's from plugging into the system and never quitting. Keep going, family. Don't stop. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how you feel. If you can look up, you can get up. You could take this very day. This is the most awesome day of your entire life. You could take this day right here. Don't look nothing back before, none of the past. None of that has to do with anything with this next 24 hours. This is a full day of grace and mercy. Take advantage of it. I promise you. I'm talking about I'm bearing fruit in places that I didn't even like going. I didn't think nobody heard it. But I just kept going. Fam, listen to what I'm saying to you. Man. Dr. Best, thank you, Dr. Best. Thank you, Dr. Best. Thank you, Ms. Valerie Best. Thank you for having a dream. Thank you for not forgetting about us. Man, this system is bananas. This is ridiculous. It's too easy. I'm studying to be the greatest of all time. Much love, honor, and respect.
Thank you, Brother Ed. We have several hands that are up, and I do want to be respectful of everyone's time. Traditionally, we bring Brother Eric up last, so I have one more gentleman that wants to share before we get to Brother Eric. And I'm sure Brother Eric won't mind me yielding the mic to someone that is a part of the Champs team as well. And that young man is by the name of Brother Roosevelt Jenkins. Now, Brother Roosevelt's also from Detroit. A lot of people truly are learning that some of the seeds that were planted in Detroit have blessed a lot of people all across this globe. And this is one of those young brothers. Brother Roosevelt always has a word that he likes to share. And when he shares that word, it touches each and every one of us deep inside our soul. So Brother Roosevelt Jenkins, you have the mic, sir.
Thank you, Uncle Mike. Grand rising to the brothers and sisters, kings and queens in Lydian world. Grand rising to you, Dr. Best. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Eric, Brother Rahman, and other believers. Shalom. I wanted to read from the Dream Chaser Manifesto. My sponsor gave me this book to give to my newest member, Sister Victory. Chapter 2, it says, focus on that dream. Focus is defined as a clear interest and activity. I learned very early as an adult in life is full of distractions, and the urgent of vital things at the moment is not important. And the most important thing in life are seldom urgent. You see, it's not urgent that you eat healthy foods and exercise daily, but it is vital to prolonging the living a healthy life. So in order to accomplish anything as an adult, we must first decide what we want. Then prepare to go to war with the distractions. Let me say that again. So in order to accomplish everything as an adult, we must first decide what we want. We want to be wealth builders worldwide. We want to walk by faith and not by sight. Then we prepare to go to war with distractions. We get thousands of messages every day that steals our time and our money. In case you don't know, those who are your two primary resources, family and friends, and associates want your time. Companies want your time and money. This is the last part I'm gonna read. These can be distractions in keeping you from achieving your goals, whatever they might be. When it comes to relationships, there's always a party, a happy hour, a social event, or a funeral. Yes, I said it, a funeral. After work, the average person's life is consumed with these activities. They give 50 to 60 hours a week to the job. Then they pay on the weekends or whenever they have 2 days off. Not being judgmental here, but it's a choice. Everyone is busy. We all have 24 hours in a day. We decide what to do with those hours. Before I came into Wealth Builders Worldwide, I wanted to be rich, but I found out that to be rich is just for the moment. When I came into Wealth Builders Worldwide and GS Partners, now I want to be wealthy, so I have enough assets that I can be able to turn over to my generations and generations to come. My brothers and sisters, keep the faith. Remember, we can't see faith, but we can, if you take it in and you download it into your heart, then you can see it as you go through the motion. But faith is the just keep the faith. I'm not gonna go into that because I know the time. I'll turn it back over to you, Brother Mike. Go.
Wow. Thank you, Brother Roosevelt. That was powerful, sir. Family, you definitely want to get a copy of the Dream Chaser Manifesto. It will pour into you anytime you take the time to read it. There are messages everywhere in that incredible book. Thank you, Dr. Best, for creating that book and for sharing your insight with each and every one of us. Now, before we get to Brother Eric, there's one thing that I want to share. Dr. Best talked about find something that you get emotional about. And when I spoke about Brother Rahman, it definitely hit that emotional chord simply because I grew up in Detroit. I know what that's like. I was one of those individuals that, they tell you go to school, get a good job, do this, do that, right? All of that happened. And very much like Brother Corey said, I had my father there, but I had friends that never knew their fathers. But they didn't have a rock. They didn't have Brother Rahman to pour into them. Some of those friends are no longer with us. I am telling you, family, never underestimate the power of mentorship. Now, I mentioned I was going to come to culture, and then I will hand the mic to Brother Eric. When Dr. Best talks about culture, the culture that is here is second to none. It's something about that culture, because it's not about the money. It's about each one teaching one. And when Dr. Best said, sometimes you need the power call or you need the huddle, and sometimes the huddle needs you. Miss Sharon Vick said it very well today, that, Dr. Best has gone through this period where he needed us. And it gives us an opportunity to give back to someone who's given to us so greatly. And we will do that. But let me let you in on something else that Dr. Best has always told us. It's about the dream, the struggle, and the prize. Dr. Best will never tell you this, but Mike Johnson's going to share this with you. And I'm not speaking out of school. I'm not peeping into his back office, but I will tell you this. What Dr. Best doesn't realize is he has enough assets where if the coin, we're just talking about one of the many assets that he has, if or when the coin simply goes to, listen carefully, family, $25 a coin. For some of you, that number is ringing because you've heard me talk about it a lot. If it goes to $25 a coin, Dr. Best will never have to worry about money again in his life. No one in his family will ever worry about money again in his life. But watch this. Add a zero to that. That coin goes at $250 a month. Excuse me, per coin. Dr. Best has enough money coming in one asset that half of his goal is done. He said his goal was to create, listen carefully, $100 million a year generating empire for himself and his family. Do you realize at $25 or $250 a coin, $50 million a year will be in his basically back office without him even getting out of the bed? That's the power of building your business, and that's the power of stacking assets. Now, the other 50 million will be taken care of with his business, but his assets is making money for him. So Dr. Best, congratulations. Your dream is a reality, sir. It's just, and I said this to Brother Eric, the back office hadn't caught up with Brother Eric, and that coin just hadn't caught up with your assets. Do you realize that $250 a coin, you are earning $50 million a year, and you don't even have to get out of the bed? Okay, I'm sorry. Good God Almighty. Brother Eric, you've been patient. You allowed me to get on this platform and share. I get the good fortune of handing you back your mic. Brother Eric Ture Muhammad, you have the mic, sir.
We love you, Brother Mike. Amen. Amen.
Man, y'all give it up
Blessings, Brother
for
Mike.
the love.
Love you, love you, family. Love you, Brother Mike.
We love you, Brother Mike.
Thank you, Brother Mike. We
Love
love
you, Brother Mike.
Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Love you, Brother Mike.
Right on, Brother
More
Mike.
in the heart, brother.
You
We're
are
blessed.
so powerful.
Man, I needed that. I needed that. Thank you, sir.
Yes, blessings to you, Brother Mike. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Brother is a blessing to us all. Eddie Revolution. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brother Mike.
Yes.
Real.
Yesterday, or maybe the day before, I was blessed to speak with Dr. Best, and he had just gone through a reread of the Dream Chaser Manifesto. He wrote the book, and he found a need to go back and read the book. And his response to his read was, wow. What does that do for a student? If you're a true student, you're going to follow your teacher. If you're a true student, you're going to strive mightily to do as the teacher does. So I acquired another copy of the book, and I got to read. Wow. And then Brother Roosevelt opens up the book and gives you from chapter 2 on focus. And in that chapter, Dr. Best lays out why the chapter 2 is focus. Now, Brother Roosevelt was kind. He showed you the book that his sponsor gave him for Sister Victory. Shout out to you, Sister Victory. I see you on the platform. But have any of you ever seen Brother Roosevelt's personal copy of the Dream Chaser Manifesto?
Yeah, he ran over that.
Brother,
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. It is
He
truly
chucked it up
warm.
the window of the
Yes.
Yes, indeed. It's been used for sure.
Brother Roosevelt, I don't know if you have it in your possession now where you could just show people. I'm sure you put it up in a safe or something so you can keep it from just deteriorating. He dismantled that book. And it's evident in his pursuit that he's in the hunt, that the focus is there. And he's beginning to show the world that he has what they're looking for. That's why Sister Victory found him
as an example. He didn't find her. He was out doing what he does. She found him because in him, she found her needs could be fulfilled. Brother Ed Williams. I had the great pleasure this morning studying your profile on your page. I look at your replays of the huddle. I love the way you do it. I love where you just showed a mural of the Team Believe huddle and you allow the vocals just to play. I love the descriptions you give it and all of your links. And I'm encouraging all of you to find Brother's page. Study that. And still, he's sharing, but still, look at the descriptions, insert your links where appropriate, celebrate your teams where plausible, and share it to the world. It is a culture. It is absolutely a culture. And Brother Mike Johnson,
You got this, brother.
boy, to have a helper in this work like this man, where he exemplifies what Dr. Best says in the book. What he exemplifies and what Dr. Best shares in his teaching and example. He says, find that thing you're emotional about. And not only has he found it, to me, he exposed it to the world today. There's a lesson in people who found what they're passionate about, because they'll do it regardless to whom or what. And you know, in networking, there's a term we use called tap rooting, where you build in depth. You go down under your network, down into your downline, and you go beyond the people you sponsored. You go into the people that they sponsored, and those they sponsored, and those they sponsored, and you find the fire. You find the kindling. You find people who are active, and you reach down and meet them where they are. And you apply a little gasoline to that kindling. Sometimes you throw even another log or two in there. And it creates this combustible thing called fire. And it begins to take off, as my father would say, like wildfire. And you find yourself burning away all the dross, all the unnecessary things, but you also find yourself burning with desire. And it makes that person in depth, they become now a leader, and they move up the chain, and they sit and stand and run behind another leader. And before you know it, you have an entire line on fire. Culture. Mr. Johnson, his love for training and teaching these numbers I doubt very seriously he could have found that anywhere else in the world but in Wealth Builders Worldwide. Oh, he was looking. He may not even known that he was looking to be that teacher, to be that guide, to be that impassioned one. He'd run into people and they would say, no, man, just build your team. He said, hey, man, but mathematics is life and life is mathematics. It's a science. It can be proven at no limit of time. He's moving and they say, no, do this. No, do that. He experienced it in corporate America. He experienced it in his upcoming in Detroit. He experiences it all through life. And in the networking environment where no one made room for his gift. His gift made room for him. What a helper. What a tremendous helper to this world of wealth builders worldwide. Man, will y'all unmute your mics and love on my friend, Brother Mike Johnson?
I love you,
Much
Mr.
love,
Mike
Mike.
Love
Johnson.
you,
Love
Mr.
you so
Johnson.
much,
Interesting.
Brother
Thank you,
Brother
Mike.
Mike.
Thank you, Michael Johnson. Thank you, Brother Mike.
Love, love.
Keep on
Love,
doing
Brother
Thank
Mike,
you.
love.
You too.
to you.
Love you, brother
Oh,
Mike.
teaching.
Love, love,
Brother
love.
Mike.
Thank you, brother.
Eminem Mike.
Thank you, sir.
woo,
Love
Love
you.
Love
you.
you,
Every
Mike.
time you open your
Every
mouth, Mike,
second
we
you
love you,
spent with
bro.
me, sir.
man.
Love you, brother.
We'll see it
Oh,
Thank you,
again.
brother
man.
Mike.
Inshallah.
Pouring into us.
Thank you, brother Mike.
Thank you
Amen.
so much, Brother
Thinking
Mike
of
and
me when
Brother
I was
Eric.
weak. I appreciate you.
I want you to think on this, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to take some time today. Just a little, I think.
Take some time. Take some time.
Don't
Yes, please.
apologize.
Time.
Okay. Mr. Johnson. Suffers what everybody suffers in this world of networking. Because we build the opportunity on strangers, but we love for our family to get it. Now he knows this. He's been in networking more than 25 years. That's a quarter of a century. And he made the sacrifice where he could build teams of tens and thousands of people just like that. But he wants it for his family. And whenever you hear him explain how he's built his business, he's really giving you a prayer. He's praying to the universe. He said, I have blessed my family. That's what Job did. Job blessed his family with his fortune. Job blessed his family with his skills and gifts. Job blessed his family with the blessing from his God. And even when the time came where money was removed, resources were removed, things were squandered, and the family crapped on him. They wanted him to curse God and die. That's Job now, not Mike.
Right.
Job held on to God. And then everything was restored to Job and then some. Brother Mike prays every time he offers you his presentation. And you know why it resonates with us so much? I was battling with this, Dr. Bess. I'm like, why does Mike resonate with me so much and get on my nerves at the same time? My nerves because I'm a builder. He's a builder too. Brother Mike showed me the structure. He taught me about compounding team building. He gave me a book, charts, diagrams. And we went through it together in the early, I'm about to say the early years, right? Feel like we've been together forever. And we went through it early on. I'm just sharing this with you. I just feel I got to. And we would go through it day in, day out for a number of days. And then I would come back and teach some of it, or we would tag team on some of the teachings. And then I began to experience what he experienced. And that's how I knew that what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's how I knew that I was on the right road, because if it happened to him and for him in the way that it had, in the way that it does with Dr. Best, in the way that it does with Cece and Vincent and all of us on here, then I'm on the right road. Even inside of our wealth building dynamic, we have to deal with attitudes, right? Not necessarily the attitude that grow that person, but sometimes it's the attitude of people crapping on you, and still it grows you if you embrace it in context. Brother Mike and I were on a run. Nikki Knox jumps in. We running. We went through a period where things weren't gelling. Maybe as fast as we wanted it to. It was gelling, but maybe not as fast as we wanted it to. And then we found in our communities, people getting selective over who's exposed to what platforms and what kind of criteria had to be met and all that kind of tra-la-la. And none of us wanted people to get stuck in that position, because God damns ego. So we got away from the ego aspect of it. At least we think we did. We developed Onboard Live, and we developed other platforms, and we continue to train and teach. Why? Because if we can get people to rise above emotion and get into the higher thinking of what God wants you to have, then we've done our job. Every time you hear from Mike Johnson, there's not a time he doesn't leave it all on the floor. Am I lying or am I telling the truth? Does he come into the game like every day's a championship?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
You
Yes,
better
sir.
believe it.
Yes,
Sir.
Every single
absolutely.
day.
All the time.
Every
All the time.
All the time.
I don't care what platform it is. I don't care how big it is. I don't care how small it is. I don't care how long it is. I don't care how brief it is. Whatever moment he gives you, he gives his all in it, and he leaves it all on the floor, and he's satisfied with what he's done when he's finished. When that Zoom ends, or when that program is over, or when that promotion or teaching is complete, he's secure in knowing that he gave his all. That's a lesson for you and I. Are you willing to take the massive action over the things that you're emotional about? Are you willing to take the massive action over the things that you love? Are you willing to make the sacrifice day in and day out to give when others don't seem to give a damn?
Facts.
Are you willing? What an example we have in this man of what we can be. Everybody's not going to enjoy numbers. Everybody's not going to enjoy logic. Everybody's not going to enjoy I don't know why they wouldn't, but asset accumulation. But everyone can enjoy life when you tap into that thing that you are emotional about. Okay, now I just want to tell you what I came on to talk about in the beginning, but y'all messed me up. Brother
Abdul, maybe?
No, sir.
I'm sorry.
No, sir. Let me just, I lost the screen I was gonna share. Um,
Love you, Eric.
oh, we love you too. And I love for all of you to love yourselves more, to do more for yourselves. Can y'all do that?
Say that, brother Eric. Say that.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No
Yes,
plays
Yes,
off.
sir.
Totally
Mr.
Yes,
Mike Johnson.
sir.
do that.
Yes, we can.
That's true
Yes,
love, family.
I
That's
can.
true love,
Absolutely.
man. That's true
Bless you.
love,
Okay,
family.
so
I decree that.
man, I lost it again, but it's coming.
Take your time, brother E. Take your time.
Give me 1 second here. Can you all see that flyer?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Take
sir.
a screenshot of it. I don't
Yes,
know how
sir.
long to
The
stay up.
$1 million
Take a screenshot of
plan.
it. I want to thank the teams that showed up yesterday at a RSVP announcement where we did presentation, and then those that I included in the last minute with a general invite in the Team Believe notification, the Telegram group. Yesterday was designed to show those that I sponsored directly that it's possible. I invited from Sunday night, it took me from Sunday up until Monday to invite 509 people individually. Those 509 people are the people that I sponsored or that I am now their direct upline because the people that sponsored them fell off. So it was like 506 that I personally sponsored and additional 3. And I invited each and every one to come to this meeting yesterday. And I invited as RSVP. If they responded, then I would send them the link, the Zoom link, and we would do the presentation. And out of the 509, 68 people confirmed. And out of the 68 people that confirmed, I want to say 42 or so of them are people that are in my downline that I never, ever spoke to. Now, sponsoring a lot of people is one thing. In being consistent with the process is another. And I know if I was having these issues with 500 or so people, and when some of us have issues with 3 or 4, I know what you're not doing. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If it will work for me, it will work for you. So I reached out to each one with a personal invite and requested the RSVP. And then the RSVPs came. So then I sent out a direct invitation to the Zoom platform. And when we opened up the platform, by the time we closed the platform, our peak was at 38 people who attended. That's 38 teams. You do know that every one person you sponsor is a team, right? And
Yes,
we
sir.
found, thank you. And we
Yes.
found several new people on the platform that were sort of camera shy, sort of mic shy. They didn't want to say anything. But one sister did. And Sister Zena, she spoke. And I promised to get some things over to her, and I did. And we're going to onboard her all the way through. She's been with me since December of 2020. And she came alive in the opportunity yesterday. What is the lesson in that? It's what goes back to what Brother Ed said. Don't give up. Don't quit. It goes back to what Dr. Best always tells us, not only to give yourselves time to succeed, but you can't succeed if you quit. And so we have to develop a level of consistency that's congruent with a world that needs us. Is congruent the right word there? I felt Dalco-ish. Congruent. Did I use it in the right context?
That sounds excellent, Brother Eric. Excellent.
Because I honestly don't think I really know what that means. I'm assuming. Okay. So, or I'm gonna speed it up. So now today is the open event for everybody. And everyone who was on yesterday committed to bringing people today. And so take a screenshot and bring all of your teams, share it out all over your social media, and let us do the heavy lifting for you. I want to give the $1 Million Plan from the mind of Dr. Ty Best. And I'm going to show you some things, God willing, briefly, in your back office that makes it doable from your GS Partners back office. Now, last point. Culture. The beauty about this culture that we have in Wealth Builders Worldwide, it allows us to get those things out of the way that we give towards our overall distractions. Brother Roosevelt, when you mentioned that chapter 2, there was something here in it that I saw earlier. It says, just like we have limited resources, money, we decide what to do with that money. The media, this includes television, magazines, movies, and the internet, spends billions of dollars every year to separate us from our money. This is a distraction if you have a dream and you plan to get that dream. You can't spend your dollars celebrating every sale and holiday Madison Avenue promotes. Again, that's a choice. I said, oh man, he's gonna go to that chapter. And he said, I'm gonna stop right there. He stopped just before that, that paragraph. I just knew he was gonna cover it, right? Look, this opportunity inside of GS Partners allows a wealth builder to awaken to the fact that you are disciplining yourself. It's a training ground to get money out of the way. I'm gonna give you a very basic example of it. I see more people in the back office now paying their $33 membership in months, blocks of time. They're paying it 3 months in advance on an average. Okay. Why is that important? You're getting money out of the way so you can make the money work for you. Think about that. When you come into the opportunity, you automatically pay yourself first, right? Well, that's the culture of Wealth Builders Worldwide. That's the first thing we do. That $33 gives you a $28 NFT, Lydian Lions, and the ability to place yourself in the Lydian world for a daily passive residual income for life. Who is that paying? It's paying you, right? Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes,
That
sir.
would be right, sir. That would be right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And it's paying you first. So you can't say this thing isn't working. It is working. You just have to up your work to pay yourself first. Getting money out of the way. Do you know when that $33 is out of the way for a month, 2 months, 3 months, what has it freed you up to do? To earn consistently every day for the next 3 months. And you just keep paying it forward to yourself as you build. It's a training ground that requires, it teaches inherently a discipline to follow your dreams. Pay yourself first. Get money out of the way. If you start doing that now, just imagine what your life is going to look like. In the back office, you have the ability to get G999 coins, and you have the ability to get the Lydian Stater. Why would you crap on the Lydian Stater? The Lydian Stater came in when it was, at the time it came in, it was at $1,500 a coin. Then it jumped to $1,900 a coin. Now it's about $311 a coin. And you're whining. This is when you should be buying.
Man.
You ever go to the
Value versus
supermarket?
price.
You look at, that's right. You look at quality foods you want to get, but because you're distracted, what do you look for mainly? You look for the best price you can get. As long as it has the color of a tomato, I'll get it. Just give me the best price. Here you are trying to stretch, Brother Randy. You're trying to stretch your money. When you have $100 worth of Stater, when you have $100 worth of G999 and it goes down, you lock in more, you do know that you just have more of the G999, you just have more of the Lydian Stater inside that $100. That's locked away and it's yours. What happens when it goes back up to the $4,000 per coin that Mr. Height said it will eventually reach? What happens to that $100 worth of Stater then? Let's say your Stater was $10 a coin and you spent $100. That's $10, that's 10 rather Lydian Staters, right?
That's right.
Right.
Okay. Now, when the Lydian Staters goes to $4,000 a coin and you have 10 Lydian Staters, how much money do you have?
That's $40,000, Doc.
You see my point?
Yes, sir.
So you buy the dip, you dip with the dip, baby, and you pull it in, accumulate the asset for yourselves. Get the G99 coin. I gotta keep up with my nines. Get the coin. You contribute to your entire ecosystem when you get it through the GS partners. You contribute to yourself when you want to get it through the GS trade. You still contribute to the whole ecosystem through GS trade. It's just not done in the same way because you don't earn a commission off it. But when you're building family like Mr. Johnson, you can go down in the exchange, in the exchange on GS Partners, and you can get as many of those coins you can, and you'll get a commission against them. And it adds sales volumes to your abilities. And it creates cushion. Let's say you can't afford, you can't afford to pay the $33. The question is always, how can I afford it? Well, if you go into your downline and you generate assets there, it'll give you enough commission all the way up the line to take care of your $33. It's just some of the examples. I guess I spilled it all out. I think I got it all out. Thank you, Mr. Mike Johnson, for such the wonderful example that you are. Thank you, Dr. Ty Best, for all that you are and all that you do and all that you inspire. And thank you for my rant. I won't say anything else for the next couple of days, probably. We are going to have a very different Hard Facts Friday tomorrow. And I believe it'll be pre-recorded because I'm still traveling and doing transitional things with the loss of families and all that kind of stuff. You know, you put on the armor, but it's rough when you have loved ones to transition, but when they transition like they have back to back in less than 2 weeks, you still find yourself reeling to do other things. And then life goes on for all those that you're responsible for. So the pre-recordings, they weren't planned in class and session. They just became a way to continue the flow of truth as we continue to move through what we move through in these vicissitudes called life. I want to thank you for your patience with me. I did finally get back to many of you who reached out to me, and we're working through it. My wife thanks you immensely for the love and support that all of you give and continue to give her and her husband. And we're going to continue to do all that we can to kill a brick, choke a stick, drown a glass of water, make blood bleed for the salvation, the wealth salvation of our people. Back to you, Mr. Johnson.
Amen.
Au.
Thank you, Brother Eric. There's one thing, family, that I do want to share. And this is a result of a conversation that I had with Dr. Bess. And first and most important, you hear Brother Eric and I talk about peanut butter and chocolate. He got his peanut butter in my chocolate, or however you want to call it. He built a team. I built assets. So both works. But I had a conversation with Dr. Bess, and this is kind of a glimpse of what's coming tonight. And I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk about this. I want you to understand that most of us look at salaries and we look at jobs as being the come all to get all, whatever you want to call it. Understanding that some people look at certain professions and they hold them in high esteem. For instance, let's talk about a lawyer. Now, there are many different types of lawyers, but when I did the research and I found that one of the top paying lawyers is known as a patent lawyer. Now, they start you out with one of the highest salaries of any of the lawyers coming out of college, of any of the lawyers is joining a firm. And even if you hung your own shingle, you could expect to make about $180,000 your first year. Now, if you choose salary, they're going to pay you $180,000, and that's salary with bonuses. And if you hit certain benchmarks, that's a pretty good income. That's great. But that's somebody that owns a job because you're trading hours for dollars. But see, my conversation with Dr. Bess was all about building a business. So when you build a business, it's a little different. And since we're in networking, let's talk about the business of networking. Now, understanding you had to go to college for somewhere between 6 to 8 years to be a lawyer. If you're on the fast track, it's 6 years. If you're on the slow track, it'll be about 8 years. But here's what I want you to focus on. Building a business. You build a networking business. Okay. Top networker can expect to make about $165,000. Now, many of you will look at the 180 and you'll think, okay, that's school, that's whatever, whatever. And, that's a lot of money, but you got to think about what you had in school. You have these things called student loans. Think about whatever else you have. You're trading time for money. Let's talk about the networker. The networker is building relationships. The network is building a business that once getting started, you couldn't stop it if you wanted to. Now, because I was talking to Dr. Bess, and I don't want you to think, well, Dr. Bess is at the top of the food chain. So obviously, Dr. Bess had a young man that he mentored that in less than roughly at 7 years, he mastered the system that Dr. Bess taught him. That young man is named Michael Dalco. Now, Dr. Bess and Mr. Dalco both reached a position in GS Partners known as Global Ambassadors. They both did it in the month of June. Now, here's where math is your best friend. All we're talking about is June. Notice that a lawyer went to school for, let's say, 7 years. We're going to take it right in the middle. Not 6, not 8, but 7 years. And he has student loans. And now he's paying back his student loans, but he's making $180,000 a year. That sounds like pretty good money. And now we're going to compare him with Mr. Dalco, who followed his mentor, and let's give him 7 years. We're going to make them apples to apples. 7 years from the day that he followed his mentor, how is he doing? Well, 165 is a little short of 180,000. But family, let me explain something. That 165,000, that's a ballpark number. And I'm not looking at anybody's back office. I'm not speaking on their numbers. But do you realize that Mr. Dalco, as well as Dr. Best, both generated $3 million in income for the month of June of last year? Our compensation programs pays 50% back to the field. So that means 1.5 million was paid back to the field. That sounds great. How much do you think, let's just pick on Mr. Dalco made? Well, if you look at it, you add up all of those percentages and you just do an average. Do you realize Mr. Dalco put somewhere in the neighborhood of $165,000 to $175,000 in his pocket in 1 month? Now, wait a minute. Did he have to go to school for 7 years? No. Does he have student loans to pay back? No. All he did was plug into a system and plug into a mentor who taught him how to do what he wanted to do. Understanding that Dr. Best and I, when we talked, and we talked about this whole mindset, about getting people to a point where they understand that when you build a business, you're not trading time for money. You're taking advantage of what's at the top of the page, the power of leverage. Do you realize Mr. Dalco couldn't shut it off and Dr. Best couldn't shut it off if he wanted to? Now, I'm giving you a ballpark number. It may be far more than that, but bare minimum on what those gentlemen earned. And wait a minute, that's just one source of income. That's just, and I hate to say it, that's just the money that they earned on a daily basis. We're not talking about bonuses. We're not talking about understanding family. When we're talking about one source of income, when you get paid multiple ways when you build a business. Now, what I shared with you earlier, and yes, I got emotional about it simply because I've been helping people to understand numbers all my life. But to be able to share and to help someone like Dr. Best, he really doesn't care about the assets. He has them, but he doesn't care about them. But see, look at what he's earning on a monthly basis, ballpark for the month of June. That was a ballpark for both of those individuals. Now, I'm not speaking about what's in their pocket. I'm just telling you what the numbers say. Because if you just take $3 million and just take a ballpark, take 5.5%, that's $165,000. But wait a minute, our comp plan tells you get 15% on the first level. And you get 6% on the ninth level. Both of those numbers are more than 5.5. So I took worst case scenario, just 5.5%. That's $165,000 a month because you were smart enough to follow your mentor. That's what building a business will get you. Now, Dr. Best is a master at building businesses. He's done it over and over and over again. And family, he's also a master at listening to people that may have expertise in areas that he doesn't have access to. He told you on that live stream, he couldn't begin to advise the council on metaverse certificates and all this other stuff. But he's a networker. He builds businesses. And he surrounds himself with people who can figure out all of the stuff that he doesn't want to figure out and share with him. Okay, tell me what I have here. When I spoke to you about once that coin goes to $250 a coin, Dr. Best is sitting in a position where he's generating $50 million a year and he never has to get out of bed. And that's just one of the many assets that he has. But let me let you in on another little secret. One of my pet numbers is $25 a coin. Well, understand this, family. When that coin goes to $25 a coin, do you know how much money Dr. Best is sitting on? And that's just money coming in that he didn't even have to get out of the bed for. His money is making money for him. That's what happens when you have the asset. Brother Eric just did a masterful job of sharing with you, buy the dip. The coin is on sale. You don't want to wait till the coin goes to $25 to go buy some coins at $25 a coin. You want to get them when it's fraction of a penny. That's today. When you hear the term pay yourself first, if I can't share but one thing with each and every one of you, get in the habit when you get a paycheck, pay yourself first. I strongly suggest you pay yourself first with either talking to somebody you new or stacking those assets. Because every asset that you get, it's going to be worth far more money down the road. It's called long-term vision. When Brother Eric told you about going in and getting as many of those Lydian staters as you can, understand if the stater started at a certain number, then it rose, then it dropped. It's like any other cryptocurrency. They have a tendency of rebounding. And when it goes up, as Mr. Joseph Haidt has said, what happens if it goes to $3,000 or $4,000 a stater? How many of those staters do you want to have? When they're on sale right now, why are you sitting here thinking about it? Get as many as you can. The G999 coin is on sale, family. You can wait till they're $25 a coin. If you took $100 today, you could walk away with 20 million coins. Or, excuse me, 20,000 coins. You take $100, you get 20,000 coins. Now watch this. You wait till the coin goes to $25. Now you take $100, you get 4 coins. What are we waiting for? You want to stack. There's a young lady that's on the platform. I'm not going to call her out. She saw the power of stacking assets. She's very much like Dr. Best. She had assets she didn't even know was coming in the door. And what we figured out yesterday was when that coin goes to $25, she's got money coming in and resources she didn't even know she had because they're paying her in assets. We're in an asset accumulation business, family. I'm going to get off that soapbox, but I'm telling you, when you realize what you have, for some of you, you're going to stop playing and you're going to say, okay, every time I get a paycheck, I'm going to pay myself first. There are people on this platform that are doing that, and they're smiling all the way to the bank. Dr. Best is one of them. He's been stacking assets. He's got a huge business, over 50,000 people on his team. But ask him if he has a few assets. He talks about it like it's nothing. I had 30, 40 million coins. You know how many 30 million coins is going to be when that coin goes to $25 a coin? I'll let you do the math. I don't want some of you to lose sleep. That's what 30 million. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Best, for all that you do. Thank you for pouring into people like myself who get stuck on stupid sometimes and won't listen. Because family, when you build a business, that business will generate enough resources where you can do whatever you and your family want to do. And Brother Eric shared a secret with you today. I'm going to say this. He said it. I would love for my family to be like you. See, no one in my family is on this huddle, but I gave them the opportunity to be here. They're not here. So I'll pour into people who will listen. But guess what? The members of my family, they're going to wish they had paid attention because I gave them X amount of coins. I'll just tell you, I gave over 1 million coins away to family members. 1 million coins. It's not about me. I'm okay. God has blessed me. Well, you're blessed to be a blessing to others. Family, what you have on the screen here today is an opportunity for each and every one of you to take full advantage of today. It's called leverage. You leverage the ability of people to share something, and all you have to do is put people in front of the message. And guess who wins? You win. Because if you put 15 people in front of the message today, about half of them will be business partners before the day is over. If you put 50 people in front of the business, this information today, you're going to walk away with about 25 new business partners. It's not magic, it's just math. You can't put this information in front of 50 people and not 25 of them see a light bulb to go off. Because yes, sir. Go ahead, Dr. Best. I'm sorry.
I sit here, I enjoy class session, and enjoyed the huddle. Man, you guys are incredible. And I try not to say something, but this last illustration you did about the 2 incomes is so powerful. And I had to step out and say, but now we're missing 2 points, or we didn't emphasize enough. You talk about $100,000 a month, top income earners and networking versus the lawyer. But 2 very, very critical points, very, very vital points. Number 1, we just talk about a year for the lawyer. That was a month for the networker.
Yes, sir.
Number two, the lawyer still got to get up and go to work every day to make that networker don't. And this is even more critical than anything I can say. If you get that in your mind, you will kill yourself to build a team. The lawyer cannot will his business to his spouse or her spouse.
Absolutely.
When they done, they done. Their spouse are not licensed to practice law, did not go to school 6 to 8 years to get it. A networker, all you got to do is say, it's now yours, baby. And they still could pull it out at $100,000 a month or $30,000 a month or $5,000 a month or whatever it is. Everything you do in networking is a willable part of your estate. No more license required. You ain't got to go back to school to get it. Then you do have to learn some about how the back office work. But that's self-taught. That's critical. You have no idea. Got doctors, lawyers, professors that work all their life. And when they die, the profession's over. They can't leave it to their kids, can't leave it to their wife. Now, hopefully they stack with some money they can leave to their family. That's about it. God bless me. Great message. I can't wait to hear it tonight, brother. I know you're going in.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you,
Best.
Dr. Best. And I'm writing that down. I will make sure I stress that this evening. Family, don't sleep on what Dr. Best shared with you. The whole willable part of your estate, it doesn't matter how much they're paying you. They could pay you $350,000 a year. But when you pass, your family is only going to get an insurance policy if they blessed you with that. But when you build a networking business, all of those assets that Dr. Best has stays in the Best family for generations to come. That's called generational wealth. See, rich is when you have enough money to do whatever you want to do. Wealthy is when your great-great-grandchildren still couldn't spend all the money that you made. Slight difference. But when you own a business, you can create wealth. When you have a job, you can come close to being rich. There's very few jobs that's really going to make you, you're a professional basketball player, you rich. But when you build a business, you can build generational wealth. Don't sleep on that, family, because we're all going to leave here. Dr. Best said it in his live stream. None of us are getting out of this alive. And guess what? You can't take a dime with you. That young lady that I was working with yesterday, she is doing what she's doing for her grandchildren. She's not doing it for herself. She's already done. This lady is definitely getting paid, but she's setting it up so her grandkids won't have to struggle. Family, when you can pass it on, because we're all going to leave here. It's called legacy income. Thank you, Dr. Best, for bringing that. I will definitely make sure we touch on that. Now, today, you get a chance to put people in front of the information. And by putting people in front of the information, you've done your job. Here's where you're going to fall short of your job. You only come by yourself. You want to invite everyone that you think might be interested in learning what we do to this particular opportunity. Understanding it doesn't matter who's presenting the information. Put them in front of the information and collect a decision. That's the system. Systems are duplicatable. Personalities are not, family. I'm telling you. Thank you, Brother Eric, for putting this on the screen. Please take a screenshot of this. And don't just hold it for yourself. Get it out. Send it to everyone who even thought about they were sitting on a fence, people that you sponsored that are still sitting there stuck on stupid and they hadn't decided to pay their $33. Because what happens is if they don't pay their $33, they'll never see those commissions that are running right past them. Just because you're not active, don't think that somebody that you sponsored is not active. I showed an illustration a week ago of what it looks like when you sponsor somebody who sponsors somebody and sponsors somebody else, and then that person sponsors somebody that gets a $2,500 certificate. Do you realize that all that money rolls up to the first person that's sponsored or the first person that is active? Instead of you earning 4%, which is $100, if it rolls up to you and you get 15%, that's $375. And what did you have to do for it? Absolutely nothing. Now multiply that by 1,000. That's what happens when you build a team. Family, I'm telling you, this team thing is amazing. Anyway, back to you, Brother Eric. I'm going to get off that soapbox for today, and I'm turning the call back over to you, sir.
Power call time. Unmute the mics. Love on each other. Let's go. 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 Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. This is power call.
Much
Let's go.
love, family.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Straight to the power call. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Team.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you, brother Mike,
Fantastic.
and